Hi, Alessio. Hope you're well. Some very interesting things happening right now on the stock markets. I just want to give you a quick update on this. So, as you probably saw yesterday, the stock markets, went below the 50 moving average. That's the S&P 500 I'm looking at here. The S&P went below its 50 moving average and the 55 moving average. You can see by the wick of this candle bar. But look where it closed. It closed above it. Okay, right above there. Now, currently at the moment, as I'm making this video, the markets are testing that level one more time. But nonetheless, it is important that as far as the markets are concerned, they managed to close above that level yesterday. By the way, look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ beautifully. This is the chart of the NASDAQ, as you can see here. And look how beautifully the NASDAQ came down, tested the 50 moving average. That's the white line you see here, and the 55 moving average, held these two levels beautifully and bounced off it. Okay, so it seems the Nasdaq right now is probably the stronger of the major stock markets because it's holding much more sturdier, much more robust. So what seems to be happening is this: that the stock markets consider the support level that was formed yesterday on Thursday, these lows near the 50 moving average. The stock markets consider this level to be very important. Okay, so Thursday's lows look to be extremely important for the stock markets. On the Nasdaq, that appears to be at, let me just, that's be 7468 by the looks of it. And for the S&P, that level appears to be, yeah, more or less 2835 by the looks of it. So bottom line is this: Thursday's lows, in other words, yesterday's lows, appear to be quite significant, quite important for the markets. At present, given yesterday's move, the market seems to be protecting. The market seems to be protecting these key levels. Again, the 50, the 55 moving average, closing above these levels. Let's see how the markets do today, Friday. So it's the last day of the week. I want to see how the markets actually close today. And here's what's important. If the stock markets cannot protect the lows of Thursday, okay, the lows we formed yesterday afternoon or evening, so if the market cannot protect that level, and if we close, if we see the markets today or next week, if we see it closing below that low, below the lows of Thursday, and if we stay below that low, that support level, things could get very ugly very fast. In other words, in the famous words of Ron Burgundy, things could escalate very quickly. So what does that mean? It means that if the stock market were to breach the lows of Thursday, if we close below that level and stay below that level, then it's very likely that we could eviscerate this entire rally. In other words, this entire rally that was formed between December and until last month. In other words, over the next, if we see a close below the Thursday lows, and if we stay below those lows, that entire rally could be eviscerated in a matter of a few weeks, or potentially a few months, maybe even sooner, who knows. But bottom line is, in other words, we could have a situation where the markets could just totally evaporate this entire rally. If not all of the rally, but at least most of it could be completely wiped out. But again, let's just wait and see. I don't want to get too bearish at present, okay? Because again, markets seem to be respecting this support level and the 50 moving average. Let's see how the markets play this out today. Will they protect the lows of Thursday or won't they? That's the big question. Again, as I mentioned before, as far as the Nasdaq is concerned, the Nasdaq also is protecting its 50-55 moving averages. Let's see if they continue to do so. So watch the Nasdaq as well. If the Nasdaq cannot protect, if the Nasdaq falls also below its below that 50-55 moving average and closes below it and stays below it, again, same thing with the Nasdaq. We could see strong downside pressure on the Nasdaq, which could eventually wipe out that rally as well. Again, my personal belief is that as long as we stay above the 50-55 moving average and the Thursday lows, okay, so as long as we protect these lows of Thursday and the 50-55 moving averages, there's still a probability that we could go back. There's a probability that the bulls might push the S&P towards the 3,000 level. I would personally prefer the S&P to reach 3,000 and then for this market to, start rolling over down and heading lower. But let's just wait and see how the market plays this out. All right. At present, it's just a matter of waiting to see whether in the next few days or today, whether the stock markets can protect the lows of yesterday and the 50-55 moving averages. All right. So let's see how the market plays this out. Things are getting very interesting. And by the way, guys, again, as I mentioned before, if the market fails to hold on to these support levels and closes below it, then as the saying goes, something is going to hit the fan. And we know what that is. Exactly. All right, guys. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next update. Bye for now.